All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Let's get into some signs and symbols for the day. We start with the Piscean energy, and we have a mermaid. I feel like somebody has an aquarium or a fish tank in their house. They could have a little old-fashioned, like a figurine of like an old-fashioned scuba diver or something. And we have theology. Somebody has a globe in their house, old fashioned, kind of yellowed out. They may collect old books as well, like leather bound books. They might be drawn to that particular, you know, vintage look as a whole. But this person is seeking answers specifically about love, about futility of love, or about, um, the like I almost feel like somebody's like reading quotes by like Greek philosophers about love. I don't know that I think that this is a spiritual quest. I think someone is almost like using this contemplation of like the dreamscape, emotions of like seeking, something really special, the quest for either understanding universal love or the quest to find love in this lifetime. But I think it's more for the purpose of like a poetic interpretation, maybe, or let me see, maybe they had a dream. This could be somebody who actually had a dream also, and they're pondering it. Like, what does that mean? They could have been trying to find something. We have Sagittarius energy, and this guy's busting on out of like, this feels very Princess Bride, like a daring, rescue mission or something. Very much Robin Hood esque energy as well. We have the Five of Pentacles, and we have the Emperor or the businessman. It feels like we are like in the mind of this very intelligent, but also very dreamscape kind of masculine. I keep seeing him lost. I'm sorry, I keep seeing him lost and seeking something that he keeps feeling like he can't find. But then on the other hand, he wants there to be like this daring rescue, and he wants to be this powerful individual, but it's like he keeps feeling like he's lost. He knows what he'd like a storyline of his life to play out like, but maybe he's worried he's over romanticized something, or maybe he's worried that nothing will live up to these expectations. Maybe he finds himself perpetually seeking unavailable relationships, and he's like, maybe I do this to keep the fantasy alive, but then this is kind of getting old because I don't like this. This feels lonely. It feels like I feel like he's sleepless in Seattle, or he's sleepless walking around in a big city. His eyes are like glowing. I feel like he's wanting something stable and long term, but he's asking himself, then why do I pursue things that are somehow too distant, too out of reach? Uh, that song "Wind Surfer" comes to mind by Roy Orbison. It was early one morning on a lonely beach. He wrote a message and he left it in the sand. Why do we always go for something out of reach? Nobody ever really understands. We've got air energy. He's definitely in his mind. And I feel like we've got either this old fashioned like pressure gauge, or this also makes me think of like dials on like an old radio or stereo. Um, I kind of think like he's trying to dial in the frequency of his thoughts. I really think he's making this way more complicated than it needs to be. I don't get what the boggle is about, why love and the quest for love and the feeling of loneliness and the desire to be a hero and the desire for, finding something meaningful and long lasting has felt so out of reach to him. I don't know why he's in such deep thought about this, unless this is all very positive and he's like coming to this realization. Like, I'm getting it now, and we do have lightning here. I feel like he's spending considerable time, like, up at night to early dawn, walking. It's like he goes outside because he can't sleep. He may live in a city. This is like, with high-rise buildings or something. Maybe he's like, sometimes I walk from, night till morning because I can't sleep because I'm thinking about all this stuff. And maybe he's having these breakthroughs, though. Person of leisure, and we have this feminine who kind of is kicked back and very comfortable. Is this who's on his mind? Is he starting to recognize? Can I get more clarity on this? I can't figure out if he's having this understanding that, wow, wait a second, I realize what I'm feeling. The reason I can't sleep is because I'm in love. The reason I'm having these dreams of chasing her and unable to access her is because spiritually, I know this is a really important person to me. The reason I'm picturing, and even feeling more like a bit of a hero, or fantasizing being a bit of a hero on a daring rescue, and being this, stand-up kind of emperor, is because I actually am hungry for a long-term connection with someone that maybe this is all new and he's just having these breakthroughs. Instead of him like mulling over it and making it this huge, like, I don't get it, I don't think love is real. We don't have unhappiness. We just have a lot of heavy contemplation. And I was thinking that he's, stressing, but I think he's actually lonely for the powerful connection that I think he knows exists. And I think he's realizing those things right now. 3 of Cups in the reverse. If this is one of those situations where he's like, okay, hang on, like the frequency is coming in loud and clear now. My thoughts are loud and clear. If there is somebody that I want to connect to, then I need to connect to them. I can't be connecting to the wrong people or trying to, I don't know if he's in like I'm so sorry to say this, I don't want to be rude, but I'm wondering if he's in a connection with somebody that is not the right person for him and he knows it. And this is becoming clearer every single day. The person that he dreams about, possibly a Pisces, possibly a feminine, he's starting to realize that person, like, that's who I fantasize about. That's who holds my heart. It's this other person that I dream about. So what am I doing with the wrong person? He could be with a very affluent, very well-dressed, divine feminine, having some kind of relationship with her. And it's like, but it's like he's realizing, because this is like the Ace of Swords, he's realizing that's not the right connection for him. So if you want a connection that has deep meaning, you have to go toward the person that you have, deep emotions for, instead of choosing somebody where it's like, well, I mean, this looks good on paper, like we should be all right together. Yeah, but if that's not who you actually want to be with the 3 of Cups in the reverse. So this is what he's up all night thinking about. Look, I kind of feel like he's been in a relationship that hasn't touched his heart. He's been in a relationship with someone and it's casual and it's fine and they get along all right. They don't really have any problems, but I think he's trying to like stay away from her more and more, not because she's odious or anything like that, but because as he's up all night and walking through, the cities and wondering, why can I not sleep? Especially, why can I not sleep next to a person that I might actually be in a relationship with? He's spending all this heavy contemplation going, because I think I'm realizing I'm not in love with somebody. It's more a relationship of ease. And instead there is someone else who is on my mind, who haunts my dreams. There is somebody else who stays in my heart. There is somebody else that I'm up all night walking the streets looking like I got Friday guys next thing in the morning. But it's because I am picturing who I actually want to invest with. And now it's not an investment of money. It would be an investment of emotions, because I think he's realizing, I think he already has an investment with somebody where it could be financially successful, right? He was a businessman. This is a person of leisure, but this is not an emotional connection. And now he's thinking, maybe that's the whole point. An emotional connection is what I'm actually craving. it doesn't matter if I can find somebody that's a compatible business partner type scenario. That's not what I'm hungry for. Maybe that's why we have him, with the theology and the, like questioning, like the deeper meaning, questioning, what is like right for one's heart, one's soul. I mean, love is a pretty sacred thing. I'm not a religious person myself, but I would say love is the closest we can ever be to our version of a creator, Um, we have 8 of earth. He's definitely remaking himself. If once upon a time he was content to be in relationships with people based off of like business related, like, hey, we're, kind of like business mergers type of thing, that's just not who he is anymore. He's been rebuilding himself, remolding himself out of clay here, and he's seeing the world through a different set of eyes now. So can I just go back to that Piscean energy with our mermaid? Who is this person? Because it seems like you know who you want to be with. We have got the 10 of Swords sideways. He's like, I can't even talk about her yet unless I am really ready to sever another connection. Right now, he's still in this heavy thinking phase. Because if he ends a connection with this person of leisure, then it is going to be, like that's it. That's going to be done. And now he'll be free to pursue something with the mermaid, soldier of fire. He knows better than to approach her while still dealing with that person of leisure. He's not about to like disrespect her in any way, shape, or form. He can't approach her at all unless he is completely single. And I do think in this storyline, he has not been single. He's just now getting there. He's just now at that point where he's going to be single. He may wear a brown jacket, brown suit. I don't see him as an artist, like, working necessarily like with clay, but I could picture him doing something else. Like, I don't think he gives himself time to be artistic, but I think he could be very, very good at it. But I would picture him doing something that's like more detailed, like with pens or something. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe he would be a sculptor if he had time. But I picture this as him resculpting himself and his own life, him contemplating how different. This is definitely somebody who is playing the Monopoly game of life, because I look at this as a Monopoly piece. And I just think that he's aware that yes, he could stay in a very comfortable relationship, like comfortably financially with somebody, and this feminine could have a lot of money. This could be a great like business merger, but if the emotions aren't there, if it would be harmonious but not an emotional attachment per se, I think he's at that point where he's like, this isn't right. I can't do this. And if I'm wanting to explore something with this feminine who I can't get out of my head, the one that I dream about, the one that haunts me, the one that I'm up all night wandering the streets thinking about, what is this trying to tell me spiritually? Well, I need to approach her, but man, I can't unless I am uncomplicated. I can't have, I'm not about to go treat her like maybe she's a side dish. I won't be looked at like a player. So I can only come toward her if I'm really sure that I'm leaving this other, person of leisure behind. I kind of just feel like I'm not getting a lot of like signs and symbols, because so much of this is him just thinking things out in his mind. So much of this is him, I feel like, literally walking through city streets. I keep picturing like, stop signs and stop lights and stuff, and him just like doing a lot of walking and thinking, but particularly at night where there's like nobody else around, because he's really lost in thought. Is there anything else that we can see about that, the mermaid? We have a 6 of earth. We have the Sphinx. So this is the person he wants to connect to. This is the person that he'd like to shift gears. You notice that we have somebody who's almost like a crane driver. You notice how it's funny because we actually have somebody who's like driving a crane. And then it also is like merged with somebody like sitting at a bar stool and somebody like pulling on, a lever to like maybe pull beer. And then this also looks like a crystal ball. Um, but it just feels like this would be him shifting gears in his life to be with her because she is a big mystery to him. And maybe the mystery that he hasn't yet followed was one of his heart, love. Maybe he's not gone down that road of figuring out what the mystery of love would be like or feel like. The fact that we have the Sphinx here, which is the great enigma, right? This is the I don't know the answer, but we have a feminine face and we've got the Ankh right there where her third eye would be. I feel like she coming across as two very mysterious creatures to him, and knowing that this has something to do with him trying to figure out spiritually, why do I dream of her? Why do I have these emotions toward her? It's like she is the mystery he has to solve. He can't help himself. She could be Egyptian. She could be somebody who is, for him, like she represents the stuff of like fairy tales or something, but in a good way. Everything here says this is the gear shift he'd like to make. He might know right out of the gate I would be stepping away from business deals. There would be a significant shift in like money. I would lose money if I were to stop either dating or being with the person I'm with to pursue something with her. But I think he's saying be worth it. It'd be worth it for the mystery that I need to solve, the mystery that she represents. There's something very like esoteric about her for him. There's something about her that is very magical about him, and he can't help himself. I gotta know, why do I dream of her? Why do I feel gravitating toward her? What is it about her? Why does it feel like she's supposed to be this next chapter of my life? Good for him for listening to his intuition, and being brave enough to gravitate that way. Somebody could literally have the Sphinx, or they've been to Egypt, or they want to go, but I'm picturing like a little figurine or something of the Sphinx. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.